Since we are in Lakewood Ranch, I always make sure to keep the talent age appropriate. Alright. So a lot of you guys probably went to high school with this guy. Give it up for Uncle Rocky, everybody!
Thank you, Tony. So, I got married 40 years to Bixie. The only reason why I do this is because it's the only place I can actually get a word in edgewise. We're Italian, we talk with our hands a lot, especially Bixie. Sometimes she looks like she's landing planes. She's just going a mile a minute. Well, she broke her wrist a couple of years ago and she developed a speech impediment. And she had nothing to say. So, you know, now I got a problem. So maturing in marriage is accepting the fact that your wife can't remember where she left her glasses, usually on top of her head. But you can't remember something I said 39 years ago on a Monday night at 8:56 p.m. You know, we're in a 40-year marriage and you begin to get very comfortable with each other. I remember when we first got married, she used to drive to the next town just to fart. Now we're sitting on the couch and she just leans over and lets it rip. It's like living with me. As you go through 40 years of marriage, you know, there's different stages to marriage. The first stage is newlywed. That's, you know, things are great, a lot of sexual innuendo, you're going at it like bunnies, you wear out of matches the first year of your marriage. The second is happy. You know, the sex is good and it's pretty frequent, but what do you get? It's the kids. They're at the door. We hear mommy screaming. She's yelling Yahtzee. We want to play. Let us in. The third stage is amused. You're feeling amorous. You look at each other. You run to the bedroom. You rip your clothes off and you just crack up laughing because gravity's a bitch. And then finally there's that tolerance stage. All that playful banter and that sexual innuendo is turned into bitter bickering. You still have sex. I like to call it hallway sex. You just walk by each other and go, fuck you. You know, menopause was a very interesting time for us. I didn't understand it. I mean, like the first 20 years of our marriage, Pixie was always freezing, and suddenly she's always sweating bullets. She's burning up all the time. So I said, what's going on? She said, oh, this menopause. She says, it's like I'm burning from the inside out. I said, oh, I get it. It's like when I eat a whole pizza on my own. I woke up a half hour later, she was standing over me holding a frying pan. You know, we have holidays at our house all the time. We're from New York. We used to have holidays with 35, 40 people. So I used to cook for a lot of people. Now we have maybe a dozen people at the house. I'm still cooking for 30, so people are amazed that there's so much food. And there's always a lot left over, and they don't know what we're going to do with it. Well, at the end of the night, the question gets answered because there's Pixie standing by the door with Tupperwares full of food. She's like the Oprah Winfrey of leftovers. You get a Tupperware, you get a Tupperware, you get a Tupperware. You know, have you guys seen all these pharmaceutical commercials on TV? They're always very well done, overproduced. There's usually some version of a classic rock song playing in the background. And then they get into the side effects. I don't understand how one drug can cause both constipation and diarrhea. But the one that really flips me out is the one that causes swelling between your rectum and your genitals. As silly me, I just thought that was because I eat a bag of donuts every day. You know, I'm from that rub dirt on it generation. You know, if you got hurt, they tell you go rub dirt on it. So I'm catching the second game of a doubleheader. I've taken a few foul tips off a home plate up under my cup, and I was in a lot of pain, so I said to the coach, I need to come out. He goes, just go rub some dirt on it. Well, I go behind the stands, and I'm rubbing dirt on it, and after about 3 minutes, it's feeling really good, but it's not getting any better, and all I ended up with was a handful of mud. Some of you may get that on the way home. You know, at this point in my life now, I walk into the bathroom, I stand in front of a bowl, And it actually takes me longer to start peeing than it does to actually pee. And it's like this series of urinary dots and dashes like Morse code. Ships at sea have started to send messages. There's 4 rules to aging. One is you never pass a bathroom. The second is you never get down on the floor without a plan to get back up. The third is never trust a fart. And the fourth is never waste an erection. You know, you could say I got a few tattoos, and we're sitting in the backyard and Pixie notices I got 3 lines tattooed above my knee. And she says, why would you do that? I said, well, you know when the kids were little, they would chart their growth by drawing lines on the door jamb. She says, yeah, I get that, but why the 3 lines? I said, well, I've got the 3 lines tattooed above my knee because I'm measuring the impact of gravity on my balls. She said, well, why the dotted line? I said, well, at that point, I have to stop wearing shorts. Okay, that's my time. Thank you. How about a nice hand for Tony G and Carson? And keep it going for your next comics.